This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Wow, that's timing. Hello, everybody. I'm Crispy Bacon, here with the birthday boy, James. How you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, that's all I could think of when I got on. I was like, "Oh, okay, good. He ain't even started yet." Yeah.
That was
Last
perfect
night.
time.
Yeah, last night was fun. Today probably watch some games, and then see what else happens. I think it's a miracle that I'm here.
Partied a little too much last night.
No, I think just a lack of sleep too. And then a couple of drinks, but today we'll see what happens.
Today we shall, as far as football goes. This past Thursday was an okay game. You had the Vikings and the Rams. I think many people thought maybe the Vikings had a chance to win it, but Rams at the last minute won that game. And were you able to catch some of the highlights or what of it?
What did I see of it? I saw like little clips of it because I was at work, but yeah, LA held on 30-20, and I know there was a face mask call that wasn't called, and there were issues. People saying, "Well, the refs are looking right at it," but I guess it wasn't the case there. But that's all I knew from it. I know Stafford threw for a couple of touchdowns. The running back, Kyron Williams, has some good runs to keep the drives going. Jefferson had 115 yards catching, but Stafford with time can do stuff, so that was good for them. And I felt like too, it was kind of a crossroads for the Rams already. If they didn't win that game, I think they would have considered trading Cooper Cup, and then Puka Nacua also came back. I mean, that was his first game, and it was a shocker that he would come back on the Thursday night game. But the importance of that game was just, I think it loomed that large. Then the defense got some good stops, and I think it was just that one call that should have been called. I think that was probably the biggest part of the game because the Vikings are driving, trying to come back, and even though they were at their, all the way within their own 5, I think they still would have made it interesting when you have all those weapons. Um, Man, I don't know if the Vikings are free falling right now, but um, you gotta give it shout out to the Rams for continuing to thrive, even though what is it? Just all the young players that they have and all the injuries they have, and then also uh, the crazy part, they're only a game behind in their division. I mean, I thought they were done like 2 weeks ago, but the Niners, the Seahawks have all, come back to life. And then you have the Cardinals who are right there with the Rams as well. So actually, that West is everything's wide open. Everybody is a half or one game back of the 49ers, I think, right now.
Yeah, and the question is, can they win that game tonight against Dallas? can the 49ers win it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one play in that Vikings Rams game, there's one play where I think it's Darnold, the Vikings quarterback. He got hit, and it looked like he got hit in the head or something like that. And the ref was like right there, like you were saying,
That's a face mask, yeah.
but they never called it.
Seattle's in first, by the way.
That's okay.
But it's only by one, which is just crazy to me.
I don't think Seattle's the dream team, not dream team, but like a contender really. Even though they are,
No, they're just like middle of the road. They have some lapses, but I think it's kind of a shock that they're even in first place right now. I mean, it could be a point where Arizona gets first place. That'll shock everybody.
I mean, I don't know if they have an easy schedule, Arizona, but they have a schedule, and we'll go over it here in a minute. I guess we can go to the picks the with some storylines in there in between. Kick off the afternoon game, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. You got Eagles taking on the Bengals, starting off the noon games, courtesy of ESPN. Who do you got for this one?
This one's tough because it's two teams that really need to get going in a way. Two teams that have been as of late, though, but both feel like they're behind the eight ball in a way. I think the status of T. Higgins will be huge for the Cincinnati Bengals, and hopefully that he's able to play. You see the Bengals at full strength with their offense. There's pessimism right now that he will play, not so much positive that he will. So that would be a big loss. The Eagles at 4-2, though, they're hitting their stride at least right now with their running game. AJ Brown is back, which is great for Philadelphia. It's going to be a struggle for the Bengals. They got to protect Joe Burrow to make things happen. Eagle defense up front is still good. It's just the secondary isn't. This game will be on where I am at least, so I'll be watching that. I'm gonna go Philadelphia. I think they get the road win. The running of Saquon Barkley continues to be something great. So yeah, I'm going to say Saquon and the Eagles.
Unfortunately, I'm going to that route too. Bengals have been kind of up and down this past year. I, I don't I don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow besides the injuries piling up. It seems like, but something's going on. Maybe it's the new haircut. I don't know, but
New
but I'm going.
hair color.
I don't know. People point at that like ever since he got the haircut. Like, okay. But I'm going with the Eagles too. Uh, and then for our next game, we have the Ravens going to Cleveland to face the Browns. We all know the story about what happened to Deshaun Watson. He went out with, I think, an Achilles or an ACL injury, somewhere in that area. And he is out for the season. Fans had the audacity, you could say, with the, you know, you deserve it chance, which is totally wrong. But I'm sure many fans agree with that because Cleveland is not the place where you want to go to end your career or to start your career in general. So, who do you got for this one?
By the way, the Browns with that Watson contract, they're 60% through it. The $230 million guaranteed contract. Jameis Winston will start today for Cleveland. but I think it'll be all Ravens
Hallelujah.
today. Um, I think they've been through already 4 quarterbacks already for Cleveland. Yeah, I feel like Baltimore is just on a run right now. It'd be interesting what Cleveland does with Myles Garrett. They decide to trade him, then you're really starting over. But in this game, though, I expect the Ravens just to run around and through Cleveland. I remember Cleveland already traded one of their big targets with Amari Cooper to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, and since they're already starting over, and yeah, I'm gonna go Baltimore in a route.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing for me. I'm going Baltimore because why not Baltimore? Uh, they have the better team in the AFC North. Uh, they just got all around better players, I think. And Cleveland's going to be possibly the top 5 pick, 1 to 5 maybe, if not the overall pick. The first overall pick. So I think
Carolina,
they're just
New
playing for a
England.
draft pick.
Mm,
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They're in the top 5 of the highest pick because
they'll
uh,
be there.
T Higgins will be inactive
Mm.
versus that Eagles lineup or versus the Eagles. But I'm going with Baltimore on this one. Uh, Tennessee is going to Detroit. I feel sorry for them.
Ugh.
Is Will Levis starting that game? Do you know?
I think it's Mason Rudolph. I want to say again starting for the Titans, but I'm gonna look right now.
Yeah. I mean, it is holiday season coming up. He always seems to appear during the holidays. I don't know.
Let's
Uh,
see.
but I'm sure you're going Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would have been a better game, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
I think we all
Uh,
I think we all dream it's a better game, but will it be?
well, uh, yeah, people are saying right now the Lions they're the best offense uh, in the uh, NFL right now. They look really, really good offensively.
E-
Um,
the Eagles have not defeated Cincinnati since Week 17 of 2000. They are 0-3-2.
that'll change.
Wow,
Like I love
that is a
history,
stat.
but it doesn't serve any purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, but let's let's see what happens like actually today.
Does, doesn't
So
college doesn't college football do that a lot? They have it like I think like last night Texas won against Vanderbilt. And you're like they haven't won here since 1900. I don't know, something like that. 1900. I don't know. And it's like okay, or no, it was not. It was 90 years, but still,
I'm looking
yeah,
at Tennessee. They're 1-5. Um, they're dead last in passing yards per game. And remember, they just traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. So they couldn't get him the ball anyway with their 2 quarterbacks. The thing about that, they're without Hopkins now. Um, uh, I don't have anything for the injury, but my guess he was questionable coming in for Levis.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna matter though. I think the Lions are gonna blow him out.
I think so too. It's definitely going to be the Lions game today. Uh, and you mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, who's not with Tennessee, nor is he with Arizona because the Arizona Cardinals are facing a returning but questionable return of Tua Tagovailoa. How do you think that's
Yeah.
going to put your pick?
Ugh. And then Tyreek Hill should be back for the Dolphins as well. Yeah, it's such a risk for Tua to come back, but he's going to be in there, and I just hope they protect him, or he doesn't go out on the run, and he's able just to air it out. Throw little screen passes, nothing that'll get him in any harm. I think that would be really, really good. Uh, they do have some defensive acres out. Defensive tackle will be out, and corner will be out for Miami. I don't know if I want to trust the Cardinals. I really do, but you never can.
Right.
So I'm gonna go Miami, but I would love to see Arizona overcome whatever they're going through and win. I think that'd be amazing, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go Miami. I hope though we have a good shootout game in Miami. I really do.
I'm going Miami too. Did you see his press conference to his this past week where the media was asking him, "You gonna wear the Guardian caps?"
Hmm.
He's like, "No, I mean, you played for risks. Every day is a risk. You could fall out, turn over on the bed and get injured. You could do this or that and get injured. I'm a risk taker." And it's like, okay, sign these waivers.
It's like a football macho thing. If not wearing it, or maybe it looks foolish or whatever, but I would certainly use it if I was him. It's just the image of being a quarterback as well. I
Yeah.
think that's a big deal.
Well, and there's times where I watch a game and I don't know they're wearing it until they zoom in on the helmet or on the
They
player, but it zooms in on the helmet, and it's like, oh,
they stand out. I think a lot of in the NFL, at least, a lot of offensive linemen wear it. I've noticed.
yeah,
Um, but
that's
in
good.
practice, I notice or a training camp, I notice everybody's wearing one.
I've seen a couple in a game, not a lot, but a few in a game.
I know in Tennessee, there's I think one or two people that wear it.
I think one or two in Dallas do as well. Can't remember who, uh, but moving on. I don't know if people want to tune into this game, but if you're in the AFC East, I think you might want to.
Ugh.
The the New York Jets are going to New England to take on the Patriots. And I think this was the anniversary, they're showing it earlier, of the you played to win the game. So who do you got for this one?
The rant by Herman Edwards.
Yep.
That it was funny. I think that catapulted them to making the playoffs that year. Um,
We'll bring him back for that. I'm just
they they need something. They're 2-5. Patriots are 1-6. I mean, both. Well, I'm gonna say the Patriots are out of it, but the Jets, ever since making that Devontae Adams
kidding.
trade, you your expectations go up a little more, and it's just where the problem isn't defensively; it's offensively. Or Rodgers, he's not as good. He's older now, 40. Um, they have to hook up. Him and Adams have to hook up there. The running game, they have to get back to the running game too. They've kind of abandoned that. Um, Jets are going to win, but I think it would be a really close game. There's been a lot of issues with the Patriots this year. Uh, the defense supposed to be their calling card, and they haven't been as good there. They've been labeled soft. Remember, a couple of weeks ago in what was it, last week? They were playing Jacksonville. Yeah, and they were labeled soft by their head coach, and I think people were wondering if um, Mayo would last after 1 year, but
Yeah, he's
yeah,
on
they
hot.
have. But yeah, in this game. No, I'm gonna pick the Jets, but again, I think it's gonna be really, really close.
Yeah, I'm picking the Jets, Jets, and Drake May has been as just a single player, not counting the team. He's been playing decent, better than what they had in
That's
Jacoby
true.
Brissett, but I think it's going to take time for everybody to get on the same page. But I think it would be an upset, kind of like the Cleveland game, which I don't think that's going to happen. But if New England wins it, I think it's going to be an upset. And who knows what will happen to the Patriots if they can continue to move up the ladder into the division. But I am going with the Jets. Hopefully, Rodgers can stay upright and not get hurt. Um, Next, we're going to Tampa Bay, where the Buccaneers are hosting the Falcons. Uh, both with the same record, I believe 4-2. Both are meeting for the first time with a winning record since 2012, I think they said. Uh, so a lot on the line for these two teams, and it's a divisional game and a conference game. So there's a lot on the line. Who do you got?
Man, remember the last time these two played? It was a fun Thursday night game, and now what was it, like 3 weeks later they play each other?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
well,
overtime, right?
yeah, and the Falcons
Okay.
had to walk off with one of their
Yeah.
unknown receivers. That
Okay.
was really fun to see. Buccaneers coming off a embarrassing blowout loss to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Man, but I feel like the Falcons, they're so up and down as well. And also, you think of the Bucks, man. They lost their two best receivers on Monday night. Godwin for the year, and then Evans is probably week by week with the hamstring injury because
Yep.
it was a problem 2 weeks ago, and then finally he really aggravated it on Monday night. I expect him to be out. I want to say so. I'm gonna. Oh, and by the way, the um, what was it? The Bucks will be wearing their orange creamsicle uniforms today in
Uh,
Tampa Bay, and I love those. I
they're
really,
not
really do.
bad. They're better than what they were in the '70s or
I
whatever.
mean, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Uh, uh I'm gonna. I'll guess I'll go with the Bucks. It's
Well, who do you have more confidence in as a
ooh,
quarterback?
you know what? Baker. Yeah, Evans will be out, by the way. That's what I was looking for. Man, no, I'm gonna switch it to the Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it
Yeah.
to Atlanta. I feel like there's just too much for the Bucks to overcome.
Right. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going.
going.
I'm going to Atlanta.
I'm going with Tampa. They're at home. Um, and I mean, I trust both quarterbacks. If you're like, hey, who do you want to start? Well, it's kind of a toss up. Uh, but I feel like Baker's a little bit better, and it's a home game, so I'm going with uh, Tampa. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love going to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, to take on the Jaguars. Who do you got for this one?
Man, this is a game Jacksonville really, really needs.
Yeah.
Green Bay's rolling though, 5-2. Jacksonville's 2-5. I think Jacksonville can only win in London, but not back in America. Oh man, I'm gonna go Green Bay. I think they do it on the run and they do it via the air as well. I'm interested to see how many Packer fans show up in Jacksonville as well. Um, ETN, you have to wonder about his injury. Um, he's always someone that you know works really hard and long for carries, and he's going to be a big um, question mark with his hamstring injury. Comes in listed as questionable. Remember he was out last week in that international game against New England. So if they don't have him, I feel like they're probably going to lose anyway. So I'm going to go Green Bay.
I'm going Green Bay too, only because uh, Jacksonville can't win on U.S. soil or their own soil, and I think both quarterbacks have a lot to prove in this game. So we'll see what happens there. Uh, Staying in the South, AFC South, we're going to Houston, and where the Colts are traveling to face the Texans. I'm not sure where Tim would go on this game. You know, he's normally on here, but I think he was traveling somewhere. But where are you going with this game?
Man, fun divisional game. I believe they played each other opening day, and the Texans held on to win. So Texans already have the 1-0 advantage on them. I want to see CJ Stroud have a better game. He's due for that. Um, he's regressing, I think, just a bit this year. For the Colts, they just have to figure out with Richardson what they have in him. If not, you go with Flacco. I wish they would go with Flacco. And a good thing for the Colts, Jonathan Taylor is set to return from the ankle injury against Houston today.
Okay.
I mean, that's great news. He's been out at least, I think, 2 weeks, I want to say. Uh, so that would be good to see. DeForest Buckner also will be back for the Colts, the man up front. So that's also really good for the Colts there. Uh, but I'm going to go with Houston. I think they do it there. Um, that's going to be a good game. I might switch that on um, instead of the Cincinnati game. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Houston at home. I think they sweep the season series over the Colts.
I'm going with Houston too. Over on game day morning, not right now, but they're gonna have Pat McAfee live. So if you
Oh
want
wow!
to tune in for that one, I don't know when he's gonna come on, but he's supposed to appear. So that should be a fun interview or whatever they're gonna do. But I'm going with Houston. Sorry, Indy. Uh, Houston's been playing a little bit better. I do think that CJ Stroud, like you were saying, has gone down a little bit. He's still a really good quarterback, but I think he's just gone down just a little bit, and I don't think it's going to hurt that much though. Uh, and then we head into the afternoon game, late afternoon. Saints going to Los Angeles to face the Chargers. Uh, who do you got for this one?
I think Derek Carr is still going to be out for the Saints. Chris Olave's working his way back. I know we got more hours than the other games for people to figure out who's going to be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carr is doubtful, and then I'm looking for. Um, Oh yeah, it's nothing yet, but I think Chargers should win this game no matter what. Let's say Charger it up like last week against the Cardinals. There's got to be. I feel like an embarrassment with the Chargers the way that they lost that game last week in Arizona.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Chargers 3-3, Saints are 2-5. Feels like the Saints, and it's funny they gave an extension to Kamara during the week, so he's back with them. Maybe that'll propel him to a couple touchdowns. They really need it. I think Spencer Rattler will get the start for the Saints again. Yikes! Um, it's funny he
was he?
had one good week, and then last week he really regressed.
I was gonna say, was he that bad of a quarterback? But
Yeah, he's not a starter, definitely in the league. I'll go Chargers unless they really screw it up.
yeah,
Um, they got to get back to their running game and J.K. Dobbins and um, keep Hibbert upright. But they don't really have any weapons through the air, and the ones that they have are injured. Quentin Johnson was out, and that kind of hurt him. They're relying on Jalen Reagor, who had that fumble at the before he got to the end zone. It was a great play by the Cardinal player, but you're going off of a first round bust,
right.
Jalen Reagor, who's been on different teams. But I'm gonna say the Charger defense gets it done today.
I'm going Chargers too, and I saw a video that's really interesting. Is that we all know that Rams pretty much own SoFi Stadium. They built it, they
Mm,
paid for it, whatever. But the Chargers keep their ticketing and their you know the proceeds from the food stands and all that and the tickets. But you know how much they have to pay the Rams just to rent it out?
$1.
$1. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that was the whole thing with the Chargers moving to SoFi was like, oh yeah, they don't have to pay much.
no,
But the
they
thing
don't. Mhm.
too, the Spanos family, or Spanos, they have yet to pay all of their fees for the relocation. They're behind on everything,
Oh,
and
yeah,
again, yeah, they can make money off of their um, what do you
tickets
call it?
and
Off of merch and tickets and concessions, but not
yeah.
other things like the Rams do because it's their house.
Whose
So,
house? I'm just kidding.
but every time the Rams have a whole game, it's taken over just like a Charger game. Now, like the
Yeah.
Raider game.
Uh, yeah, I saw that video and I thought that was interesting. Bills and Seahawks. We talked about the Seahawks briefly, how they're kind of in the middle of the road team. But then you got Buffalo, who's been up and down, more up than down, but they've been struggling as of late. They got Hopkins, I believe. They got Amari Cooper. So who do you have for this one?
Yeah, the Bills, they're looking really good at the right time. They need some reinforcements, and they got it with Amari Cooper getting traded there. Seattle was looking good. They had a good win last week. Trying to remember who they played, but it was on the road, I want to say, and they took care of business there. Let me see. Oh yeah, they went to Atlanta and won by 20. That was, I think, kind of a surprise there, but they did it. Yeah, Bills going to Seattle. Always interesting when Seattle goes west. But it looks like no DK Metcalf uh, for the Seahawks, and that would be kind of big for them. It would be a question if Jackson Smith and Jibba steps up for them, their second year receiver.
All right.
But Man, it's hard to win in Seattle too. But
It's the 12th man, yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna go with Buffalo in this game. I think Seattle, Geno Smith, he's so up and down. I think you trust Josh Allen more in situations like that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think also their defense, it's younger and it's kind of underrated. So yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo.
I'm going Buffalo too. Uh, I think they can. I don't. If Buffalo fans are rowdy, Seahawks fans are rowdy, I think they'll be fine. um, I think they got that environment down, to a T. And I'm going Buffalo in this one. The Road Warriors in this game. Uh, I think I know where you're going with this, and I kind of do too. Carolina's going to Denver. Your pick?
Wow. Uh, yeah, Denver. I'll go with Denver. And you know what's funny about them is like they've stepped up the last couple of weeks, like on both sides of the ball. Well, mostly defensively, they've stepped up. They've done really really well. They're 4-3 now. The uh, Panthers, they will start Bryce Young again, and they keep going back within games. Quarterbacks, they keep going back and forth, trying to find a spark, but they can't. If you have to go in between both quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. I feel like. Um, so I don't know if Bryce Young will find anything today, but yeah, I'm gonna go Broncos in a route. I think they get it done again. So I think it'll be easy game for Denver. I can't see Carolina winning on the road as sloppy as they've been. And again, they keep going in between quarterbacks, so I don't know what to think. But I'm going Denver.
I'm going Denver too. They've been playing a lot better than Carolina. um,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be a struggle for Carolina being in that altitude as well. You could say this is the what was it, Super Bowl 50 rematch,
Oh yeah.
even though either quarterback, neither Cam Newton nor Peyton Manning is on either team. So do you really call it a rematch? No.
Mm.
Uh, Next we're going to your neck of the woods, kind of as far as this team goes. Uh, you got the Chiefs going to Vegas to take on the Raiders. The Raiders. Who you got?
Yeah, it's going to be a 40-point blowout. The Chiefs will win pretty easily. The Raiders went out and got Desmond Ritter, the failed prospect of the Atlanta Falcons, and he'll be starting. That's not going to be fun at all to see that. The only thing I think you could bank on for the Raiders is like, hey, he's not going to throw the game away like Minshew will. I think that's what people are positive about. But other from that, like no one's really positive about anything with the Raiders right now. The Chiefs are coming in. They're good, of course, and I keep this reminder whenever this matchup came up in training camp here in California. The Raiders had a video where they're making fun of Pat Mahomes with Kermit the Frog, little
Oh
jersey on him.
God.
And I think the Chiefs kept that reminder. Not only is it a divisional game and a rivalry game, but you add that into it, it's not going to be a good day. It'll be on nationally too, and kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of a game. that was on last year between the Bears and the Chiefs in Kansas City, and it was such a blowout right away that they switched games on Fox. I think the same thing will happen maybe here with CBS. So yeah, Chiefs by 40.
I got. I'm sorry, James. I got the Chiefs on this one. Hopefully, the Raiders can win this today.
No, if they do, I'd be shocked as hell.
But just think too. Uh, you're gonna have to face them on Christmas Day, and I hope you have Netflix.
Really, I didn't think it was. I thought it
No,
was last year.
no, it's this year too. If it was last
Gee, that's
year,
bad.
I think last year was on Prime.
No, last year it was on CBS. I remember because Christmas was on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and they played that game. I couldn't believe the Raiders won,
Well,
and only beating the Chiefs, and it was in Kansas City
oh
too.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Uh,
And
25, and then last year on Christmas. It's the only time they beat the Chiefs, and every time they come to Vegas, it's always a rout when the Chiefs come, and it'll be all red too.
this
It's
year,
of the Super Bowl last year where Pat Mahomes won in overtime.
mhm.
Ugh.
This year, Chiefs and Raiders will be on Christmas on
Yeah,
Netflix, but it'll be in Kansas City.
sorry, kids.
This was rated R for we don't know what.
Raunchy.
Uh, Bears in Washington. Bears going to Washington face the Commanders. It's still up in the air as far as what Washington's going to do at quarterback. Uh, but I'm sure whoever they send out there will win. But who do you got for this one?
Yeah, I'm reading this where it's saying signs point to Daniels playing for Washington. Jalen Daniels, he's been so good this year. He left last week with the rib injury, and this is always bad for quarterbacks. So if he plays, I think Washington wins. But if Chicago coming off their bye, I want to see how a young team, and especially a young player like Caleb Williams, comes off of a bye week. That's going to be interesting to see. I
Yeah,
never trust that because they're in such a rhythm. It feels like each week.
and then they stop.
Take a week off. Yeah, you basically stop what you're doing. Um, and Sunday comes and you're not playing, so that feels weird. Um, I'm gonna go Washington in this game. If Daniels plays, that would be a game. I think to me, other from the Bills and Seahawks, that afternoon slot of games here,
Uh
I
huh.
think that I think this game is going to be so intriguing just because of the rookie quarterbacks and the fact they could do it with their legs as well as the arm. Um, both have been entertaining to watch. It wasn't right away, but then both have really shown up as of late. Their defenses have shown up as of late as well. Offensively too, you gotta love what Washington has done, spreading the ball around. I know last week Mariota came in, and I was hoping to never see him be a quarterback ever again, but he was backing up in Washington. Hopefully, we don't see him today, but yeah, if Daniels plays, I'm going to Washington.
I'm going Washington too. It just depends on how. I mean, ribs are 50-50. Depends on how injured you really are. I mean, they're no joke, but I think the Bears could take an advantage with that, though, the defense, knowing that he's hurt. So, but I'm going Washington. And then the game to end is Sunday. We're going to California. Cowboys taking on the Niners. I want to say it's the Cowboys. I want to go Cowboys on this one. And there's an interesting, I guess, somewhat not official stat, but a stat where anytime Brady calls a game, he's not calling this game. Thank goodness.
Mm-mm.
But anytime that he calls a Cowboy game, they lose. I think we're cursed. uh, and then, do you know when the bye weeks actually started in the NFL?
I'll say probably when they had shoot, did they have when they started to play 17 weeks? So
No.
I was gonna say
Maybe
1980 something. I'm gonna say 1977 they did.
1990.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was past the time where they put in 17 game or 17 weeks. I was way past it. I would have
And
thought it has something to do with that.
I'll see when they moved to 17 weeks, but yeah, 1990. It's like I heard that on the show, and it's like, really? Huh. So a little fun fact. But who's your pick for Dallas San Fran?
Man, I feel like this matchup has kind of lost its luster a bit just because of the injuries and the poor play by each team. Um, it's not like what we thought it would be coming in. That's the issue. Cowboys are 3-3. The 49ers are 3-4. Both are like treading water, trying to come up. I'm interested to see Dalvin Cook. I was high on him with the Jets, but they didn't use him correctly last year. But he's elevated and ready to debut for Dallas. The injury report is long for the 49ers and could be a issue where, they already have Ayuk and McCaffrey out, of course, but also Debo Samuel has an illness and wrist injury. Kittle has a foot injury, and they're questionable. And Jawan Jennings, their best receiver as of right now, is out. That is a lot for the 49ers to overcome.
Yep.
But is Parsons playing, do you know, for
I
Dallas?
I don't know. I think that's still up in the air. Game time decision.
Yeah, that's what's hard about, predicting these things. And Brock Purdy, he had a talk with his coach, or he had a Shanahan talked with him for a couple of minutes.
Uh-oh.
That was that was pretty crazy because you don't really see that. But he didn't fare well, you know, late in that game where all the injuries took place. I think he threw 3 picks, and that really hurt them trying to win the game. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm going Dallas. I think they get it done. The rushing game will come back for Dallas with Cook. The Niners really banged up, at least offensively. Or Purdy's gonna overdo things, and he's starting to regress as well. Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starting to look
I'm
like a rookie.
on the road.
He's starting to look like a rookie a little bit.
Yeah. When you don't have that many weapons around you, when you have a safety blanket like McCaffrey, and that's
Yeah.
what's interesting to note about McCaffrey was like, hey, in the back of the heads of the 49ers
Right.
and their fans, you had to remember McCaffrey was coming off already 2 injuries that were long lasting for missing games.
Yeah.
But I don't think they realized it or whatever the case was. And remember, it came back where I think he has arthritis in both knees or something like that. And
Oh,
um,
bad enough
and
with one.
he went to Germany and tried to get it, get it looked at, and they did. And but he's going to be out for a little while too now, and he's been out, I should say, but a little more. Yeah, I'm going Cowboys. I feel confident. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Mike Tirico, who's going to call this game tonight for NBC, he said this
Oh, that's
game He said this game might determine the tiebreaker.
If they have a wild card position.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I wish
Which
it
is
would end in a tie. I think that'd be deflating for both. I mean, that would truly represent what both are going through right now. I think that would
yeah.
be some. I want to see though. Is it who's your other defensive player up front that has been out for a while?
Lawrence, I
It's
think it
been
was.
Parsons. Yeah, Demarcus Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
I want to see the Cowboys at full strength. When it comes to their defense as well.
Yeah,
Hasn't happened in a while, but that'd be great to see.
it would. Um, and then finally, to end the week, you have I don't know. It's not a good game, but it's better off than what you had for Carolina. Uh, you got the Giants going to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. What is your thoughts about Russell Wilson coming in last week, taking over for Fields? Because we all hated that move.
Yeah, I was skeptical at first, and remember he didn't start off as well in that first half, and then
No,
the second half, Wilson caught his stride and made the key passes. He's still hesitant to run up the middle for first downs. That's one thing I hope he would get over, but maybe it's too late for him. But it worked out. The defense did amazing things. Up front with Hayward, and then on the outside with Watt, and in the secondary with Fitzpatrick. So they're doing it with their defense, and they're running a little bit better, and then the receivers are actually um, contributing. I just feel bad for Justin Fields because, he got him to the 4-2 record. He wasn't turning over the ball. He was 10 touchdowns, one pick. Um, it was just that Colts game that he didn't look so well, where he had a couple fumbles and a pick or whatever. But in that game, with Anthony Richardson, I guess that's going to happen.
yeah,
Fumbleitis was going around, but it's interesting to know is like, hey, yeah, you want to go with the hot hand, but knowing that they signed Russell Wilson for this reason, for him to start, you had to have him play. Um, and it's not costing you much at all. So that was a big thing too. If it didn't work out, you could quickly go back to Fields. But the thing is, now if you have to go back to Fields, let's say if there's an injury to Wilson or he's doing bad, how will Fields come back? Will his confidence be shot after getting benched? That's one thing you have to wonder about Pittsburgh going forward.
that's true. So you're picking Pittsburgh?
Oh, in this game, yeah, I got to go Pittsburgh. Daniel Jones in prime time. I think he's like 1 for 819. I want to say something like that. And on the
Bro,
road too, forget about it. I'm gonna
forget it.
go um, Steelers in a rout. It'd probably be a really, really awful game to see, and I just wish one day they just stop. And I know it's New York and that market, but I wish that they would stop putting the Giants on national TV. By the way, Jaden Daniels, he's listed as questionable, but again, hopeful that he's able to play.
Yeah, I'm going Steelers too. They need for both New York teams, not just the Giants, both New York teams. Just just don't put them on prime time.
Any prime
That's
time,
all.
like Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night. I mean, remember they had, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago? They had the Bengals and the Giants on Sunday
Yeah,
night, and they could have flexed it out for something else. Um, it was just they just wanted Joe Burrow in the New York market, but it, yeah, just no more of the Giants, please.
Right. But that is our game picks for this week. Take it or leave it. Any other breaking news or news information you want to cover real quick?
I've got nothing.
I got two.
It's all for the afternoon games. It's all up in the air right now. I'm interested to see how um, again with the Daniels injury,
Yeah.
and then see again with that Cowboys with the defensive starters to see if they'll come back or not. So we'll see what happens. And
Yeah.
always a possibility this might be the last game for Myles Garrett with the Cleveland Browns via the trade. When is the trade deadline? Do you know? Is it
After
next week?
week 9. So the Tuesday after week 9.
Now we had receivers go, the last 2 weeks, but now I think you're going to see defensively some players leave. I do have one stat. So
Yeah.
touchdowns at MetLife Stadium. Notre Dame scored 7 yesterday over Navy in one game. The
Dang.
Jets have scored 5 touchdowns in 3 games. And in 4 home games, the Giants have only scored 1 touchdown. That's how
Wow.
bad that place has been in New Jersey, Jets and the Giants. It's been
Yeah.
so bad. Oh, did Texas win? Who did they play?
Yeah.
Vanderbilt?
They won
Okay.
by 3 points.
I missed it, but
I
yeah.
I watched a little bit of the World Series. Dodgers took it.
Oh man, it's been it was loud yesterday before we went out. There was fireworks and everything going on once the Dodgers won. I think the only issue is now with Shohei Ohtani having the injury that he had
Uh-oh.
with the shoulder. Um, you get the day off, but you have to travel to
New York.
New York for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if there is a Wednesday. Luckily, LA took both games. Now, you know, this is where the series will get interesting. Where um, the good starters are now they already pitched, so you have to wait till game 5 or 4 for another good starter to come back.
But
But
it also depends on what Dodgers how they take it too. If they're up 2-0, 3-0
yeah,
in the series, do you want to start them?
yeah, to close it out, yeah, of course.
That's true. I don't know. But any other final thoughts?
Nah, that's all. It's going to be it's kind of a mundane week for the NFL. I mean, I think everybody's waiting for Sunday night or those 2 games that I mentioned
Yeah.
later on. I'm not even looking forward to the Raider game, but I'll be watching.
Mhm. Yeah. Hopefully the Raiders win for you. I know it's good to have a birthday win with your favorite team. Unlike Jerry Jones, who did not get that on his birthday. But
Oh, um, I remember a couple of things in 2002 that happened on my birthday. It was a Sunday, just like this.
okay.
The Angels won the World Series, Game 7 in '02. But also that morning, the Cowboys were playing the Seahawks, and Emmitt Smith broke the rushing record that day.
Oh yeah.
Watching that in the morning.
Yeah, I think it was last year, or maybe it was pandemic. I can't remember. But on YouTube they had that game, and I
And I think
like the
Seattle
entirety.
won.
Yeah, I think so.
I
But it was
think they.
still a cool moment.
Oh yeah. But
Michael
yeah, there was.
Irvin,
They had
Michael Irvin,
everybody back there.
and I think Troy was doing comment. He was doing the booth.
Probably. Yeah.
So that was cool. No, it was Daryl Johnston. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He came down and congratulated him. But I don't have any other final thoughts. But thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. Hope your Sunday goes good with your team winning or whoever's team's winning. And we will see you next week for maybe a trade deadline breakdown of not everybody, but the key players and also our weekly picks. So with that, have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next week.